In the frozen skies of Siberia, an extraordinary object defied all known laws of physics before being shot down by the military. What was discovered afterward not only stunned the world but also unearthed a nearly 80-year-old conspiracy tied to one of humanity's darkest chapters. At 2:14 a.m., at a remote military base in Norilsk, Sergeant Alexei Voronov was monitoring the advanced Voronezh DM early warning radar, which detects missiles, aircraft, and satellites thousands of kilometers away. Suddenly, an impossible object appeared on the radar, at about 20 kilometers altitude. Its flight path included sharp 90-degree turns at speeds that would destroy any known aircraft, instantly changing direction as if ignoring inertia. The object could hover motionless, then suddenly accelerate beyond Mach 6, exceeding 6 times the speed of sound, yet showed no shockwaves, heat, or any air disturbance. Attempts by electronic warfare teams to jam it failed. It emitted no signals or electronic traces. The object seemed physically real but electronically invisible, triggering a high alert and pulling top Russian military analysts to investigate. The first theory suggested the object was an American hypersonic weapon test, but its extreme maneuverability was impossible for current technology. The G-forces would destroy any equipment or human pilot. The same ruled out a Chinese reconnaissance device. No known human technology could perform such maneuvers. Command decided the object was a direct threat and ordered intercept and destroy 2 Su-35's fighters, Russia's advanced interceptors capable of speeds over Mach 2 and equipped with cutting-edge targeting systems, were scrambled from Kodilovo base. As the fighters approached, the object appeared to recognize them. Pilots saw a black angular shape against the starry sky, but their radars couldn't lock onto it, with signals lasting only fractions of a second. The object was covered in a radio wave-absorbing shield, resembling a plasma field from science fiction. It moved with physically impossible sharp turns, subjecting anything inside to crushing G-forces that would liquefy a human body. Yet, it maneuvered as if it ignored gravity and the fundamental laws of physics, defying all known technology and challenging conventional understanding of flight and aerodynamics. This encounter reveals a mysterious, highly advanced flying object beyond current human capabilities, capable of evading sophisticated radar and fighter interception. Have you ever seen or heard about other encounters like this? Share your stories. As the final missile shattered the mysterious craft into fragments, the real question emerged: what secrets lie buried beneath the icy tundra, waiting to be uncovered next? With conventional interception failing, Russia deployed its final defense, the S-400 anti-aircraft system, one of the world's most advanced platforms, positioned near Norilsk. Each missile costs millions and targets stealth bombers and ballistic missiles. 240 N-6E long-range missiles were launched, guided by supercomputers. The first missile missed. Before impact, the object vanished, instantly appearing elsewhere, described as a quantum jump by analysts, shifting without crossing space in between. This was beyond evasive maneuvering. The second missile adjusted mid-flight, scoring a direct hit. But there was no typical explosion. Radar showed the object disintegrated into many smaller fragments, which fell slowly to the frozen ground. One by one, radar signals vanished. Something defying physics had crashed somewhere in the icy tundra. This encounter highlights a mysterious object, outmatching even the most advanced air defense systems. Tap the like button to let us know this content is making a difference. And if you're watching on your phone, be sure to press the hype button right below. Every hype helps this video get published to more people, and it truly supports me in earning extra income. I promise to keep bringing you even more great content. The Russian government took this incident extremely seriously. Seconds after the crash, all information was classified at the highest level. The site, called Zone 72G, was sealed off with a 200-kilometer exclusion zone, larger than some countries. Satellites that could observe the area were jammed or redirected. Publicly, the event was described as a military exercise. Secretly, an operation of massive scale was underway. Elite special forces and scientists from Academy 7 Institute, a top-secret facility handling projects that officially don't exist, were deployed. Academician Valentin Sidorov, a 68-year-old physicist with decades of experience in classified military projects, led the team. Known for handling the most secretive Cold War-era experiments, he was unprepared for what they were about to encounter. This reveals that whatever crashed was far beyond a routine incident and held immense significance for Russia's highest security levels. When the first drone footage arrived, the command center fell silent. On a flat ice lake covered in thick snow sat a massive black object, about 12 meters long and over 4 meters high. Its polygonal asymmetrical shape resembled a giant crystalline formation, unlike any conventional aircraft or missile. The surface absorbed light, giving an eerie impression of a hole in reality. There were no doors, seams, engines, or control surfaces. Despite the freezing -52°C environment, the object was warm, around 5°C, without any detectable energy source or heat signature. The only damage was near the top where a missile had struck, but instead of melting or deforming, the material disintegrated into a gray powder with a molecular structure unknown to science. The object defied conventional engineering and thermodynamics. If you want to see more creepy things accidentally captured in Russia, I've included a direct link to the video in the comments section pinned below this video. And don't forget to come back. The next discovery is about a giant black object lying on the surface of a frozen lake. The impossible task, transportation. Moving Object 24 became a logistical challenge that pushed Russian military capabilities to their limits. The object weighed nearly 40 tons. In that remote location, with no roads and extreme cold that could harm humans quickly, they had to figure out how to transport something nearly indestructible and not well understood. The solution required 2 MiG-26 transport helicopters flying in parallel. These are the largest helicopters in the world, capable of lifting tanks. Even for them, this was at the edge of their ability. The entire black mass had to be lifted as one piece. They couldn't cut it or take it apart. They could only hope the cables would hold as they flew this mysterious object thousands of kilometers to the nearest secure facility. After being flown by helicopter to a military airport, Object 24 was loaded onto a special train and transported under armed guard to the underground research facility at Academ 7. This Cold War-era lab was built to withstand a direct nuclear strike and had a chamber shielded from all known radiation, ideal for studying something so unusual. Scientists faced many challenges, but their efforts mostly failed. Industrial diamond drills crumbled on contact with the black surface, and high-powered lasers that can cut through thick steel caused no change, no reflection, no heat, only a faint glow. Temperature sensors detected no rise, as if the laser energy simply vanished. The research team used every tool available. X-ray scanners that can see through concrete were aimed at the object, but the rays vanished inside. Ultrasound imaging showed no internal structure. Neutron beams, which normally penetrate most materials, were fully absorbed. Low-frequency sound waves had no effect. It seemed Object 24 existed beyond conventional physics, absorbing all energy directed at it, without reflection or response. A physicist compared it to a black hole that consumes energy without emitting anything. Scientists could observe, touch, and measure it, but could not analyze or understand its composition or function. Weeks passed with no answers, increasing pressure from military command for explanations. The conclusion was unsettling. This object was built with technology far beyond human capability. When physicists reached a dead end, they called Kirill Platonov, a young researcher from Security Agency archives. Kirill wasn't a physicist or engineer, but a historian and analyst who studied old documents and classified files. His task was to search historical records for anything like the object. He reviewed files on the Tunguska event of 1908, strange sky phenomena, and secret Soviet UFO investigations. Nothing matched the object in the lab. After weeks, Kirill realized he needed to look not for similar objects, but for traces of technology that could have created it. This was a risky, unusual approach, but sometimes important discoveries come from asking questions others avoid. Kirill's new approach led him to a neglected archive. After World War II, Soviet forces took vast amounts of German documents and research materials. Valuable blueprints and designs were studied soon after, but what remained were speculative and unscientific projects. Kirill searched not for practical weapons but fringe experiments mixing advanced physics with mysticism. Nazi research, especially by SS units, included many ideas dismissed as insane. Kirill believed that mystical terms might hide real science. He worked daily in the dusty archive, doubted by colleagues and himself. Then he found a file labeled Reich Leadership Only, a dossier called the Kronos Project. Opening it, he knew his search was over. What do you think is the most chilling secret behind Object 24? Share your theories below. The Kronos documents weren't like typical military research papers. They didn't contain mechanical blueprints or chemical formulas. Instead, they read like a combination of advanced theoretical physics and esoteric philosophy. Under the direction of Dr. Hans Kammler, a group of German physicists had been working on something they called metamaterials, substances that could fundamentally alter their properties when exposed to specific energy fields. The language in the documents was dense and often obscure, filled with references to life force fields and sacred geometry. To most readers, it would have seemed like pseudoscientific nonsense. But Kirill had spent enough time studying both modern physics and historical scientific documents to recognize what he was seeing. Beneath the mystical terminology lay descriptions of extraordinarily advanced concepts. These scientists were talking about materials that could absorb and restructure energy at the molecular level, substances that could exist in multiple states simultaneously, technology that manipulated fundamental forces in ways that wouldn't be theoretically possible for decades to come. The Kronos documents revealed that, like the Russian team, German scientists found their metamaterial immune to conventional methods like cutting, melting, or drilling. The key was resonance, synchronizing the material's frequency with surrounding energy fields to make it temporarily malleable or transparent. They used ultra-low frequency audio signals based on precise mathematical ratios resembling quantum harmonic frequencies, math not fully developed until decades later. Kirill took this idea to Professor Sidorov, who was skeptical but agreed it was worth trying after all other methods failed. The theory, though sounding like Nazi occultism, offered a last chance to crack the mystery. In a sealed chamber, technicians set up a high-power infrasound generator, producing sound waves below human hearing, but physically felt. The device was aimed at specific points on the object's surface based on German documents. When activated, everyone felt a deep vibration in their chest and bones, a sensation between sound and pressure. After 10 seconds, nothing happened. After 30 seconds, the object remained inert. Near a minute in, just as the power switch was about to be turned off, faint ripples appeared on the black surface, like waves on a dark pond. The material responded. The object then emitted a faint melody, barely audible over the infrasound, described as distant singing, whale songs, or glass harmonica tones. This was clearly a form of communication. As the generator ran, parts of the shell gradually became transparent and vanished, revealing darkness within. This experiment demonstrated how infrasound can provoke physical sensations and reveal hidden properties in unusual materials. The research team found inside Object 24 no familiar machinery, no wires, circuit boards, or mechanical parts. Instead, the walls were covered with organic-looking, glowing fiber-like structures that seemed to pulse and breathe, suggesting a living or biologically inspired system rather than conventional engineering. In the center of the first compartment floated a transparent sphere containing a silvery blue liquid that defied gravity. The liquid hovered in the middle, constantly shifting shapes from spheres to complex geometric patterns without touching the sphere's walls, appearing like a mechanical heart made of mercury and light. Surrounding this sphere were floating metal rings rotating on different axes, creating ever-changing motion patterns. These rings generated electromagnetic fields so complex that monitoring equipment couldn't fully map them. The fields oscillated unpredictably but revealed mathematical structures over time. This system was not a normal power source. It appeared to manipulate fundamental forces or create localized distortions in space-time itself, hinting at advanced or alien technology beyond current human understanding. This discovery shattered assumptions about technology, merging organic and mechanical principles in mysterious ways. The next compartment held an extraordinary black crystal suspended in an energy field. Its multifaceted surfaces reflected no light, but radiated a strong presence, noticed by the team. Patterns of light appeared and vanished on the crystal's faces in complex sequences that were clearly meaningful yet incomprehensible. This was Object 24's brain, a quantum memory storage device with data density far beyond human technology. Scientists estimated it could hold all human knowledge, every book, song, paper, and photo, thousands of times over. But accessing its data was no simple matter. Normal electronics were useless. German documents revealed a method called bioresonance communication, transmitting information through biological oscillations instead of electrical signals. After weeks of trial and error, the team built a transducer to convert the crystal's light patterns into audio-visual data humans could understand. When activated, the display revealed not just data but decades of hidden history, challenging their understanding of the modern world. This quantum memory crystal demonstrated futuristic data storage and communication beyond current science. Object 24 had been monitoring Earth's surface and significant movements for decades, collecting detailed data on military sites, political activities, scientific advances, and technological breakthroughs. All this information was systematically stored, creating a comprehensive archive of human civilization's most sensitive details. However, what chilled everyone at the research facility was knowing that this vast data was being transmitted elsewhere, back to the machine's creators. These entities, who believed their time had not yet passed, were waiting for the right moment to return. The cracking from the crystal reveal a hidden history of the late 20th and early 21st centuries. During the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962, the world watched as American and Soviet forces confronted each other over missiles in Cuba. Unknown then was that Object 24 monitored everything, including Soviet warships carrying missiles. It recorded a mysterious submarine, not belonging to any known fleet, which sent false signals to manipulate intelligence and provoke both superpowers toward nuclear war. This submarine briefly surfaced, contacted an unmarked vessel, then vanished, nearly triggering a catastrophic nuclear exchange deliberately, as if testing humanity's limits. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The official investigation blamed a lone gunman, but alternative theories have persisted. Object 24 recorded the entire day, tracking every vehicle and key person. Minutes after the shots, a vehicle left near the grassy knoll, passing police checkpoints without stop, suggesting clearance from an unknown source. This vehicle went to a private airport, where occupants boarded a plane without filing a flight plan. The vehicle's license belonged to a front company linked to a network established post-World War II, reportedly connected to intelligence personnel given new identities and roles. The Apollo program marked humanity's greatest technological feat, breaking Earth's gravity and landing on the moon. In July 1969, Apollo 11's landing and Neil Armstrong's first steps united the world in hope and triumph. Object 24 recorded unseen events. Unidentified objects followed Apollo 11 with precise, intelligent movements, staying just out of the astronauts' detection. During the moonwalk, some objects orbited overhead, watching silently. Their presence raises questions. Were they protectors or watchers preventing discovery? The recordings offer no answers, only mysteries. Where procession cording, the Longtranotsalar bold prosteri. The fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989 symbolized the end of the Cold War and the triumph of freedom. However, Object 24 recorded secret meetings weeks before the fall between East German Stasi officers and West German industrialists. These talks were not about reunification, but about redistributing wealth and power in the new Germany. Disturbingly, many West German participants had Nazi-era ties and planned to control East Germany's resources after reunification. Thus, the wall's fall also marked a carefully managed transfer of power to those with controversial pasts. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss a revelation that changes everything you thought you knew. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, a third hidden force operated behind the visible Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. This invisible power did not engage in direct conflict, but manipulated information to create division and provoke conflicts that furthered their interests. Their actions were carefully planned and executed over decades with patience and precision. This group had resources that transcended national borders, influence reaching the highest government levels, and technology far beyond public knowledge. From the perspective of Object 24's recordings, humanity was watched like bacteria in a petri dish, controlled by an unseen hand shaping history for its own goals. Object 24 proved that the disturbing conspiracy of the Nazis surviving beyond 1945 was fact. After World War II, Operation Paperclip brought over 1,600 German scientists, many linked to the Nazi war effort, to the United States. Notable among them was Wernher von Braun, who led rocket development and later helped build America's space program. These scientists, some involved in unethical experiments, continued their work under American supervision. Meanwhile, thousands of Nazis fled to South America, settling openly in some countries or hiding in remote areas, bringing vast hidden wealth looted during the war. A group of Nazi scientists and intelligence officers vanished after World War II, taking advanced knowledge of secret projects such as anti-gravity propulsion, metamaterials, energy weapons, and technologies linked to electromagnetic fields and space-time. Using hidden wealth, they created an international network outside government control, independent of any nation or ideology. Over decades, this network advanced technologies and built machines like Object 24, far beyond known aerospace tech, operating undetected for nearly 80 years. The UFO phenomenon. After World War II, there was a wave of unidentified flying object sightings, including the 1946 ghost rocket phenomenon in Scandinavia, where many rocket-like objects flew over Sweden and Norway. These remain unexplained, but may have been early tests of advanced propulsion over neutral areas. The 1947 Roswell incident, often linked to aliens, might have involved a failed test flight of advanced technology instead, explaining conflicting reports and secrecy. Over time, UFO sightings show increasing technological sophistication, suggesting a secret testing program rather than extraterrestrial origins. For nearly 80 years, this hidden network operated flawlessly. Their reconnaissance craft flew over every nation, gathering military secrets, tracking leaders, and monitoring technology, always escaping detection. Object 24's destruction over Siberia marked their first major failure. Overconfidence led them to underestimate modern Russian air defenses, especially the S-400 system's speed and accuracy. When Object 24 was shot down, it revealed a hidden world, rooted not in distant galaxies, but in the darkest parts of history. From Nazi scientists and intelligence officers, who escaped justice after World War II, arose an empire in the shadows, with advanced technology that makes current military systems seem primitive, immense hidden wealth, and nearly a century of watchful planning. Object 24 and its quantum memory crystal remain among the world's most guarded secrets. The physical item is held in a facility known to fewer than a dozen people. Its data is analyzed at the highest classified levels, accessible only to a tiny circle of military and intelligence officials. Each decrypted file raises new, unanswered questions. Where is the Nazi network based? Recordings show technology launched from many places, but no central command. How many reconnaissance machines still operate? Object 24 is the only captured one, but data suggests dozens may still fly silent missions. What is their true goal? Are they gathering intelligence endlessly, or preparing for something bigger? The recordings also hint at deep infiltration in governments and institutions, linking this network to corporations, political figures, and militaries. How many decision-makers today unknowingly serve this hidden force? How many world-shaping choices are influenced by those outside democratic control? What do you think about this revelation? Does it change how you view major historical events of the past 80 years? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I'm genuinely curious about your perspective on this. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, someone who's been searching for answers to questions about UFOs and hidden history, share this video with them. The truth deserves to be spread. Thank you for watching, and remember, the biggest secrets aren't always in the stars. Sometimes they're right here on Earth, hiding in plain sight. I'll see you in the next investigation.